means that we are definitely live. Can everyone hear us or hear me? Hello, everyone. Good evening. There we are. Oh, it's everyone's saying hello. Crikey, it's happening. We're here, Mr. Tim Dunn.
Ooh.
There's already. The bets are in for how long it's going to be. No, everyone, it's going to be a sensible length because Tim has to get away and have a life and do things. So it's going to be a sensible. Let's tell you what. Let's press this button. Tim is here, everyone. Hello, Tim.
Hello. Hello.
How are you, Tim? Are you well?
Well, I haven't seen you for at least 3 minutes.
I know.
So I'm spoil the magic. Yes, I'm very well. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you everyone for tuning in.
Yeah. This is actually. Well, I'm going to pour. Oh, it's finished. I literally finished it. It's gone.
You finished a bottle of sherry in the first minute. Well, it's always nice to know I do that to other broadcasters.
Harvey's, if you want to sponsor me. Anyway, right. So, without further ado, we're gonna. Yeah, it's happening. So, So if I press this button here, and then press. Actually, let's go. Let's go here. This is. In fact, let's get our guest. Let's get our little faces up. We're up here. This is the trailer, which we've been playing for each Railnatter so far this year, showing a few things happening, which is nice. Here it is. It's very quiet, so we can talk over it.
Oh, right. Okay, yes. That's Barrow Hill.
It
This is a drone. That's a tunnel, Catesby. That is Łódź in Poland. That is, I can't remember that is Łódź, Poland again. That is
Linton Lynmouth.
Cliff Railway. That's me at the railway. That's me at Barrow Hill. That's me turning a train round.
Very exciting.
And that's me at Didcot Railway Centre. And Linton again.
Yeah.
Linton. That's you, Connell Bridge.
That's Connell Bridge.
Yeah, well done you
Good,
last night.
Wibble.
That's you looking damp. That's Linton again.
Linton, Woody
again.
Bay.
Linton again. We sing it very hard. That's Bath and Bath.
Oh yes,
Bath.
Windsor.
Windsor.
Which was
Windsor.
good. That was last
Windsor,
night.
Crikey, that's Poland. Marylebone, weirdly.
Oh.
That's Viaduct. Yes. Lovely.
It was good. It's good. This television thing, this program, whatever it is, it's very good. It's very enjoyable. People have been watching.
Thank you very
enjoying
much.
it. It's quite good. Yes, we've got hello to everyone. People are saying hello and good evening. Yes, indeed. Last time, Tim, you joined us, which was episode. So 40 episodes ago. This was the first episode you joined us on, which was, when was it? Like a year ago now, or like 10 months ago or something.
Lockdown 1.
Lockdown
yes.
1. The most watched Railnatter episode. So yes. So we're going to see if we can beat all those records. Without further ado, because we've got many things to get through and short time to do it.
Yes.
Without further ado, let's crack on with tonight's show. So welcome to Railnatter, everyone. Welcome.
Hello. Is it meant to make a noise?
No, there is the noise somehow doesn't go through to Skype. Yeah, so everyone's enjoying the sound, but we cannot share in it. It's strange. There's the Intercity 225, the wonderful Intercity 225 fading out, and let's come back to us, Tim. Yes, we're going to talk about many things. What are we expected to talk about tonight? Tell us what you have what's in store for all of our viewers.
Well, I thought, because lots of people on this I know follow my incessant tweets, I thought it'd be quite nice if we looked at some stuff that you wouldn't normally get off Twitter and you wouldn't get off a television programme. So I have assembled a whole load of kind of behind-the-scenes images of how we kind of made the programme, some locations that we got to, and a couple little bits and pieces where perhaps we didn't get to send the cameras. Didn't put on television, so you'll see some extra stuff. And then also, I thought we'd talk briefly about where we toddle off to for the rest of the series, and I might hint where we're going in Series 3.
So teases for series 3 as well. It's all happening.
As always, that's me through and through. It's a big tease, Gareth.
Oh, excellent. As ever, everyone, if you have a query in the chat, do send it through. Make sure to @ me. My name appears in red, and so I can spot your questions. So far, people are saying you're allowed to come on here if you don't have a TV show to plug. Nah, it's not how it works, is it? It's not. I have to slip him a tenner to do this.
And without me funny, it seems that I seem to have a television program to plug every 6 months. So that's about all you need to deal with me.
So, well, let's press on, because we can faff around at the end, but rather than risking overrunning, I say let's crack on. So the first thing we're going to do is look at these pictures here that you've sent. These all look very tubey, so I have to remember to audio describe. So we have to describe these pictures as well as we see them. So tell us what's on screen, Tim.
Well, what's on screen right now? Some of you know from my Twitter exploits that I like taking photographs, or used to take pictures of the underground late in the evening or middle of the day when I could, and call them empty underground. That's been quite easy recently.
Yes.
Because I live not a million miles from London Bridge Station, so all of my tube journeys really start at London Bridge, and that means I started my Railway Architecture 2 Odyssey at London Bridge, and so that day I took some pictures of me heading off London Bridge to go and start filming. Last October, I think it was, and I took some snaps, and that's just me off on the Jubilee, then the Bakerloo line, off to the first location, which I can't remember where it was actually. I think it might have been. I went off to Marylebone to then go off up to my parents to stay the night, and then go and film Windsor.
Ah, yes, yeah.
It was the first night. So yeah, it was just kind of showing that we've had to travel an awful lot throughout this last couple of lockdowns, because we got the commission to make the television programme back in September, October time, and we had to deliver the whole series by the end of December, which meant we had to kind of research, write, film, find contributors for, edit, pull together, find sources and voiceover, and then kind of post-productionalize, make it look beautiful, which is a very long process normally. It takes months and months and months and months. We did 12 episodes, 12 hours of television to 10 hours of television in 12 weeks, which is just extraordinary.
It's mind-blowing. Like the amount of work, the amount of research, the amount of... It's just... This isn't an easy, quick show to make. There's a lot of research involved. There's a lot of detailed work. As you say, connecting with contributors, so much effort.
Yeah, and you're a contributor for Series 2 and indeed 3. And Dr. David Turner, our dear friend, was in Series 1 and is in Series 3.
You managed to get both of us into Series 3, which is very exciting.
No, it's all about who you know. But no, and I was joking earlier on Twitter. I said, I need to get my bookshelves in order, which I have just about managed to do behind me for this show, because normally they're stacked up.
Very smart.
We actually do have in this household, my partner and I, a lot of bookshelves. Not in this room, as you know, Gareth. You've had to sleep in the spare room, the little room to the guest suite down there, just full of bookshelves about buildings and towns and cities and railways and so on. So trying to find locations that you can and work with Network Rail and the operating companies and heritage organisations, try and film in a pandemic safely, securely and reasonably, that doesn't ask people to come out at difficult times, because you can't say to someone, can you please come out and talk on camera? You know, if there's a proper big lockdown on, we can film reasonably because we are working still, and we obey all of the kind of the protocols for the film industry, which is absolutely fine. But you'll see some issues you have to go through. It is not glamorous.
Lots of slightly clever angles of like looking over your shoulder and slightly long lensing it to make it look like you're not standing 4 meters away from who you're interviewing, those sorts of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and of course, and legislation changes from in Scotland, often from sort of Scottish region to region. also council to council.
Yeah.
Indeed, Wales as well. So, and again, we had 2 film crews in Europe, and it was trying to work out where can you send somebody? Can you send someone directly from Sweden to Portugal, or do you have to put them through Germany first? And that was changing on a daily basis, literally daily basis. But you've got to do this responsibly, and carefully, and with thought and kindness. So you can't ask people to do things that they wouldn't want to do. So that's been a remarkable. So, and the thing I said about this, I did a video at the start of the program. So thank you to all the cast and crew and production. And I do someone watching this tonight. It generally was a remarkable endeavour, and Series 3 is no different. In fact, Series 3 is even more tricky.
I was going to say, because things have tightened up even more, like even more challenges. Yeah, I say everyone. Yeah, certainly everyone I was working with was fantastic. Really thoughtful about what making sure that everything was safe first. Like first and foremost, safety was the thing that was on everyone's mind, which was really, really good. Reflects really well on the production team. It was just
absolutely. But there's some people like and so the team of researchers. There are 3 researchers who worked on it with me, and again, I might lob some of the concepts or ideas and kind of go, I think these locations are great. They go away and come back a couple of days later and go, we've just spent 3 days researching a station. You're like, how? They have got so a lot of my books I've got here are books that are long deleted books that you'll never find in an ordinary Amazon trawl. That are ancient ones, but we've managed to get duplicates of them. So stuff that I'm looking at is stuff that they're looking at, and we've got access to various journals, academic journals as well, and so on. So we do spend a lot of time for these programs. This isn't just a facile, let's open up a Thomas the Tank Engine book and make a joke about it. This is genuinely done. And again, I think we reckon there's probably maybe 1 or 2 little errors in minor errors in the whole thing, but I think that's pretty good for 10 hours of telly. I think that's pretty good when you've got so many facts being thrown at you by 60 contributors. 60 contributors, I think we have. Which is 60.
Yeah, I was garbling absolute nonsense, and I didn't spot a single error in what ended up.
65 experts, I think it is. Lovely, or thereabouts.
It's it's just an absolute impressive effort. I did a tweet last night for my part saying thanks to the production team, because everyone I interacted with and worked with was just absolutely lovely and very helpful and supportive, and it's great. It's a good experience for the contributors as well. Right. Okay. We must.
I'm as loud as I can, so I come and sit closer.
You are. Yes. No. It's fine. We can hear you. It might be that they.
Fine.
Oh, maybe bump me down is what I might do.
Well, no, I'll just go closer.
No, you're all right. You're all right. How's that? That's a bit better, I think. Where was I? I'm going to put myself down 2.5 decibels. Right, that's probably a bit better. So, let us press on. So the next slide. Yeah. So the previous slide had two tube set. Now we're in a very different setting.
Yeah, so again, just throughout the whole thing, encountering the railway network and meeting a lot of the staff around it who are keeping the system working, as I'm sure your other contributors over the last 40 odd weeks you've been doing this, wherever it is now, have noted the resilience, and the teams that have been working have been remarkable. And I cannot fault how kind and useful and passionate about their jobs they've been. Now, Ella, I know it's just a comment saying worst station, dreadful. No, it's one of the best stations, or at least it would be if it was returned back to its original form. Absolutely, and I do hope that actually we do actually have a if one looks at Euston's original plans, original photographs, it was remarkable. I mean, generally, it one of the great sort of renaissance of travel stations, part of the modernisation plan. It was just a brilliant idea that has been much maligned over the years for various reasons. There are errors of judgment, absolutely. But I just wanted to show, again, pretty quiet network. So all of last year, Travel Series 2, occasionally I put pictures on there, and I felt a bit guilty about travelling at sometimes. Like, should I be telling? Do I want to make people feel like they're staying home? Actually, travelling for pleasure doesn't exist at the moment. It is travel for work, and from the minute you leave the house to when you get to your next work location, it really was for work. There wasn't much pleasure in seeing places you love with a decimated number of people working on it. But the people who make it with the people who either knew I was going there or recognised us as a crew and went, "Oh, look, it's you lot," and they came up to chat. That was splendid.
It's true. So we've plodded through York York Station a couple of times, just on because it's on a footpath through to places. So it's on a route. So we're not just getting in the way of people trying to travel. And it's quite distressing seeing a space that you're used to the hubbub. It really is quite a distressing thing seeing it so empty. It's
given I live adjacent to London Bridge Station, as you well know, going through there at different times, there's no one here, which is a great shame. Pop to the next picture.
Oh yes, I shall do just that.
Time as well.
We're at 50. We're at quarter past. We're doing okay for time, I think.
We are all going to finish, just so you know, exactly on 8 o'clock. So
bets are off.
Because also the reason I'm on my mobile phone here is because my partner's giving a lecture at the moment. He's a lecturer in art history and design, so I'm on the 4G, so he can give a lecture to all his students at Imperial College.
What's strange is you're actually clearer now than you were on the Wi-Fi. So yeah, the 4G, you're giving me more pixels than you were beforehand, so it's not too bad. Anyway, right, Birmingham New Street Station.
New Street Station again. Turning up to go and film up in Birmingham, and probably not locations you think I'll be filming at. Just going to have a look at that again. It broke my heart seeing that station. I think it was on a Thursday evening, Tuesday evening. It was like 7 o'clock. And 3 people walking through it. 2 of which were people without homes. It was very sad to see.
Yeah. Although this photo is a very good example of how concourses get destroyed. Get rid of all those shops. Just put them in the bin. And open that up, please. Thank you.
I have mixed feelings about New Street.
Yes, I think I've said some mean things about New Street, and I stand by them. Mixed success. They're good elements. Anyway, right. So yes, empty. Shall we press on? Shall we look at the next? This is New Street Station with its bubbles, just for the sake of the audio describing that I need to do.
Oh yes, that's New Street Station.
Yes. Shall we look at the next thing?
Let's look at the next thing. I don't want to put.
Oh. Ooh.
But so I was saying, with the downs, then come the ups. So here is us filming at underneath the Royal Albert Bridge over the Tamar, and so in order to get kind of interesting views, because we couldn't actually film on the bridge or go up inside it couldn't go in the tube, sadly, because of code restrictions. I mean, you can't really get in those tubes, although we wanted to go up inside the tubes and so on. At the moment we can't do it. There are several locations that I can tell you that Network Rail has cleared us to go to that are genuinely incredible locations that I will get one chance to visit in my lifetime. I can't wait to share it on television with a wider audience, because you can't take thousands of people down there.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of people, it turns out. Those tubes we can't get into just yet, and also we couldn't walk over the bridge because you only have a couple of hours on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, getting a blockade on a single track bridge on the Great Western Main Line down to Cornwall is
we got blockades elsewhere for Series 3. Thank you, Network Rail, who gave us blockades elsewhere to give us free roam across the track. So
wow.
That's coming soon.
That's exciting. Some cheeky possessions for the architecture the railways built. That's an interesting tease.
We've got at least 2 Network Rail track possessions, which were kindly arranged for us by a very, very lovely team of people and local teams on the ground who made it happen. So we can give you views that you will never get again, or very unlikely to get again. So again, just happening to pop onto a boat. We hired a boat for the morning, and we just poodled out, and Craig Mundy and I from Lower Rail had a look and talked about the bridge and saw it from underneath and watched the castle classes go over and a China clay train trundle over and a track basher of some sort. Yeah. Just all very jolly, and it just a privilege to see stuff from a different angle. In the freezing cold November sunshine.
It is
at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it is interesting that yeah, as you say, this is an angle that perhaps you wouldn't have explored if you'd been inside. You wouldn't have had the time to include this segment or this bit on the boat if you'd been inside the tubes. Or so it is, yeah, as you say, it's an opportunity, a little bit of an opportunity out of the frustration, because this was a really interesting little angle. I love going under bridges. When I go over to see family in Belgrade, Belgrade has lots and lots of bridges on the rivers through there, on the Sava. And we go on my father-in-law's boat, and going underneath bridges is it's brilliant. It's an angle that you just don't ever see. It's great. So yeah, really enjoyed that bit, and Craig was enjoying it as well. You could tell he hadn't seen it from this angle particularly either.
Yeah, and it was, again, just behind the scenes kind of thing here. We actually were waiting on the wrong side of the Tamar. So for the boat, we were actually 45 minutes late for our boat because we got the wrong slipway. It turns out that actually, weirdly, I think it's actually like it's something like the Tamar Passage or whatever it's called actually isn't on the Devon side, or it's like something weird like the Devonport Passage isn't actually on Devonport side. It's actually on the Saltash side, looking across. So we had to go across anyway. It doesn't matter. That was lovely. Right.
Yes. Next. Ooh.
Just to show you, it is not all fun and games. This is up on Benelli Viaduct. So later on in the series, we go to Benelli Viaduct for the second time.
I'm so pleased you're doing a revisit. I think that's lovely. I really like that.
And the reason we're doing it again is because the first time round, we had so much lovely feedback about it. But since then, I'm not saying it's all down to the programme, but it might have helped. The team there have received some awards of some cash to help put a new deck on and a new walkway.
Fantastic.
So we went along to go and visit, because I didn't get to go in Series 1. It was a remote story, so I didn't get to see that one. So I've now got to see it. And they let me actually do a bit of construction work on it. So
really,
yes. So I have rebuilt part of Benelli Viaduct. You get to see one of the episodes. Very badly. Very bad.
I mean, it's a bizarre sight, isn't it? Because you've got this sort of post-industrial wasteland around where it was just tracks and industry. It's a fascinating spot. It really is.
It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. And I just want to show that the episode you'll see, it's absolutely, frankly, pissing with rain, going sideways. And that's Simon, one of our crew, with my umbrella over his camera, and giving up because the rain at this point was going sideways. And I took a picture from looking down the viaduct, which was just like half a mile that way, and it got so wet standing on that viaduct. We had to go and sort of hide underneath some awnings for an hour or so while it just blew over. Because
they're ringing the camera out, you know.
It was hilarious. So it is. If anyone says to you, "Do you want to go film a television series about railway architecture in October and November?" Say no. We'll do it in June.
It was, yes, I know something about filming in the wet. Actually, both now that you've teased it, I can say it. Both times you've had me filmed, it was quite wet, and I was, because I like to help out. I was acted as umbrella holder for both situations because yes. What was funny, Nigel, a brief interlude, Nigel was going, "Oh, I bet that photo wasn't taken when you were doing the shoot," about the sunny photos I posted of Connell Bridge last night. All of the photos I posted were of the same, not just the same day, but the same sort of 3 hours, because it went from the rain which you saw me getting soaked by to absolutely stunning sunshine within about 45 minutes. I
was filming for Series 3 last Friday in a coastal location for a big story, and in the space of an hour and a half, we had all the seasons. We had hail, we had snow, we had sunshine. Of course, it started off with the pissing rain, and me doing piece to camera out on the beach for this piece. So the entire episode, I looked like a drowned rat, even the sunniest bits. So and then second day of filming, I had to then make myself look exactly the same. So I looked wet for the entire episode because I made myself all wet for continuity purposes. So we had lots of fun. It was just showing it is not easy making telly this time of year, but it is kind of fun.
There's a definite fun element to it. Yeah.
And you get to visit places everyone loves. What is not fun though is this. So because of course it is either lockdown or it's tiered locations. In Series 1, you get to kind of bond with the crew and the team, and you finish a shooting in the summer at sort of 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the evening, and then you go and sit down, have a beer or two and a burger, and you relax, and you get people watching, and you talk about the script for the next day and so on. It's all just, your evening is then looking at the lines, rehearsing a bit, and then going to bed. This time round, it was going to a premiere travel in our little cars, going back there, ordering Deliveroo on a separate phone, putting on them on the little card to expense them, and then your Nando's turning up, and then going upstairs to eat it by yourself in your room by yourself, and then going back. So all of that kind of fun stuff that you might think we have around the production has been curtailed for necessity. But I put on there because I was like, this is my life now. It's in premiere traveling.
For people who might be thinking you were getting an excuse to go and do the things that we've all been wanting to do, it's a bit of a shame. It's certainly not the case. It's sterilised the process a bit for you, which is quite sad, because it's quite you said for the Series 1 that you really enjoyed it. It was quite a joyous process. You're meeting all these lovely people. You get to chat with them afterwards. All that goes away. You can't spend lots and lots of time with the contributors or with the crew. All of that's gone away. So it is. Which I think only reflects very well on you and the production company and how joyful and enthusiastic it still is to us viewers. Like it really is testament to that, given that you're there actually in reality sat in your tighty whities enjoying a Nando's on your own at 8:30 p.m. in an ambiguous travel lodge somewhere.
Well, there's a thought. In Series 1, it was, you could extend your joy into the evening. Series 2, all the joy is contained in the daytime, and you kind of miss all that. But I think that picture I just took was kind of indicative of, we've got a job to do, we've got things to cover, we're visiting people around the country, we're doing things safely, we're doing things we possibly can. But you've got to do this in a very robust way. And what is remarkable is how many people we worked with were able to help us do that, to deliver something that we're all very proud of. I do hope if we do Series 4, if that ever happens, who knows, we might be in a better place. Who knows?
Who knows?
Right.
Next image. Oh, you're looking slightly more pleased and fantastic. Now, is this your Bakerloo moquette scarf? Just need to double check.
Yes. Is it Baker? Not Baker. Is it Baker?
Is it?
Northern Light? Yes. Yes. And Northern. Well, district, your district, wasn't it? District. Just a border, a Great Western train, and again, just showing examples of how operating companies have been really helpful. So we actually got to move our schedule for the Royal Albert Bridge. And so I rang up a couple of friends of mine at Great Western, who I know in the press team, and said, any chance we could film on the train, actually, because there's nice views off the train. And they went, yeah, sure, we'll organise it, because you need to have chaperones on trains and so on. And so again, we had both of my crew I had with me were filming either side. So we then filmed going up to Plymouth and then came back again, and then also out of the back cab as well. So
fantastic.
The guard on the train, she let us film at the back. She removed herself out of the back cab. It was all done COVID compliant, but it was just so nice to be. It was just so nice to work with people across the industry who really wanted to help show off what we all love, right? And tell those stories.
Did you find that people had more awareness of the show from last time, and so was there more like, oh yeah, Tim, yeah, because people generally know you around the rail industry. You've got around a bit, Tim Dunn, but because of the show, because people knew the voice that you were portraying the railway through in the show, did that help? Yeah,
I mean, we had, how should I put this, support from the very top. Of various individuals who helped us through Series 1 and then supported into Series 2 and 3, and that then filtered down and around part of the business. But certainly, yes, when you ask a company that you're an unknown quantity, perhaps a year and a half ago, can we come and film? They're like, really? You're going to come and talk to us about difficulties and problems, and like,
Yeah.
no, actually, we're not here to do that. We're not doing a final documentary. We're here to show, your favourite things.
Yeah.
We want you to tell us what you love.
We're getting all the models out of the box and putting them out and showing people how brilliant they all are.
Yeah, and that's that definitely helps. You've got obviously there's 34 locations in Series 1. And obviously, we got to talk to lots of people across the rail industry in the UK and beyond for that. And and actually, a lot of the stuff in Series 2 and 3 are people actually who came to us during Series 1 or afterwards and said, there was nothing from my area on it. Can we have it?
Yeah, there was a glaring omission of a certain part of this collection of nations that I was pleased that joined the fun in Series 2. Yes.
Yes. So it's everyone has then realised, I think, actually, that here's a chance to show off, say, wonderful things and tell great stories about things that we should be proud of, and that are there to be enjoyed, and that we don't have to be critical all the time, because there are some beautiful stories to be told about these structures and how they came to be, because that's fascinating. So yeah, that's Great Western. Brilliant.
Yes, right. Next in, right, now we're getting into the really juicy stuff. Here is, right, I'm going to try and audio describe this because there is a lot going on here. There's you with your face looking excited and possibly aghast in a combination. There's all sorts of, there's like a stain, it's not a stained glass window, is it a clock face, actually? Of course it is, you love clocks. It's a clock face with some gubbins in front of it and some power. And then next to it, there's some paperwork looking rather old. With this clock is maintained by W.M. Potts and Sons Limited from Guildford. No, not from Guildford. Guildford Clockworks in Leeds.
As you know, I love massive clocks and etc. And I can't keep my hands off them. And whenever someone says, "Tim, would you like to see my massive clock?" I would always say, "Yes, please show it to us, and we'll put it on television."
And we want to see it. That's the content we need on television right now for these times.
Yes, and of course these things are pendulous things. They genuinely are. So I can't do this anymore. No. So these massive clocks. This one's Huddersfield, and just again, if you ask the right questions and say to someone, can we go and see like that big clock up in the roof? And then someone says, I don't know, why not? Why not? Well, let's go and have a look at it. So, and getting permissions is then fairly easy because they know that we're responsible and we've got various permits to work and so on. And so we end up going up, and so this is up inside Huddersfield, up right up to the top of the portico, up right on the top there. Like it looks a bit like the station, the town hall from Back to the Future.
Yes, it's a fantastic build. I mean, Huddersfield Station is stunning, absolutely stunning building.
Yeah, I mean, generally one of the greatest classical design stations of England. It's Grade 1 listed. It was the very highest accolade that listing can afford. And again, the original clock mechanism is gone, but going to see up inside it and working. Andy, the station manager, took us up in there. Went up a ladder, up inside the roof, and it's this kind of stuff like you can see that you can see all of the kind of the marks that the craftsmen have made on the stone blocks, and indeed all the numbers that have been etched by the original craftsmen into the roof timbers when they built that early roof back in 1830, 1838. I can't remember what year it was. It was 1840 something, 1841. It's wonderful, genuinely wonderful.
Incredible.
Just to go and go and see how these buildings are constructed, and going into these often hidden bits, these forgotten bits that staff go up into this once every 6 months.
Yeah.
And looking at those maintenance records, you get to see when the staff go up and how it's been refitted and redone, and little notes on there telling people what to do, what not to do. Don't adjust this, don't adjust that, don't touch this. Oh, Bob says remember this from 1973. Bob says don't touch that. it's just a lovely bit of history. You get to see. And of course, this clock is so famous in Huddersfield because this clock has governed the railway time, i.e. national time, in Huddersfield, effectively from that dial since the day that station opened over 170 years ago. So, that machine has governed the way this whole city works for generations.
The functioning, the people.
We've got to go and see it.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
It's incredible. Beautiful. It's incredible. And Huddersfield's. I mean, it's worth of. My favourite thing to do in Huddersfield is get the train there, walk through town, see some kind of interesting urban development that happens with mixed success. The stupid dual carriageway, and then go down to the canals and the old industry by the canals, and all of that industry will have chimed. It will have the drumbeat of that industry was to this very clock on the screen right now. It's fantastic. Love
Wonderful
that.
Stuff.
And your face shows how excited you are by this fact.
Yeah, horology I find fascinating. I always have found horology fascinating because of the way it governs people's lives and our cities around us. Right, and the next picture, please.
Yes, next picture. We've 25 minutes left. So this is exciting because this is a place very close to my heart because this is where the Dennises are from, near here. So this is a lovely. This is two photographs of Woody Bay in one actually. Pre-Woody Bay when it was someone's house, and post-Woody Bay in the background. Now a beautifully restored station.
So that's in 2 weeks' time. We're off to the Linton and Barnstaple Railway and the Linton-Lynmouth Cliff Railway and looking at various structures along it. Again, on my list of ones I wanted to go and do, because I took that picture when I was at university in Exeter, back in 1999, 2000-ish. And so, someone's mentioned, Jonathan, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Hi,
about the Series 4. Thank you so much. I may well take up on that. And Donald, yes, we do go and meet the cats. Don't worry. Don't worry, we're going to meet them, and they've got more followers on Twitter than I have, which is very annoying. And yes, so so Woody Bay there, a picture of it before restoration really kind of began. They'd done the station building, but I wanted to go and tell the story about these odd little Swiss cottages in North Devon. So other people have covered this railway in their documentaries about railway journeys or whatever it might be, but as so often, they don't really go into the architecture and the designs of things. Like, why does that look like it does? And it's what we try and do. We go, why does that look like that? Why have they chosen a Swiss chalet style? Well, of course, Little Switzerland, the whole area.
Absolutely, the whole of that very undulating area in North Devon, the wonderful, the west side of Exmoor is known as Little Switzerland, and so it's fantastic. Yeah,
and so go along to this thing and see it and meet the staff and again play signalers, signalman, signaller. I guess I'm a signalman. So yes, that was lots of fun, and looking at the railway and looking at the structures along it, and talking about why narrow gauge was chosen, and it isn't because of why you think it might be. Partly, it's a bit of an interesting story behind this. Actually, it turns out that actually it was partly chosen because they wanted a break of gauge at Ilfracombe, because Barnstaple, because people were concerned that actually if it was too easy to get there for day trippers, you get all the cheapos turning up.
Yeah, the grockles, as they're known locally, would all flood into Linton, and that'd be the end of it. Yeah.
Part of the reason that this scenario was chosen, we have records to show it, that actually it was part of this whole concept of going on a small railway, the toy railway, going up through the hills. That up, and the whole thing was, it was remarkable.
Yeah, it's a part of the world that I'm in love with because that's where lots of my family are from and I've explored it deeply. But it's also very, very lovely as a terrain. It's very undulating and this railway weaves through it. The longer it gets, they've got their extension down to Blackmore Gate, which I hope continues post. I hope that's survived through COVID. It sounds like actually that it hasn't been a problem really. It sounds like that's actually been useful because they can get on with the admin while everything. Anyway, so it's wonderful.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, absolutely wonderful.
Growing.
And you can't really blame it because it was George Newnes built the whole of the really sort of kind of funded the development, and he lived there, and it was different era, and people had different ideas about where people go, what they could do, and how to access it by what route, and who owned it. So very interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Right, we could talk about Woody Bay for a long time, and I'd love to, but I'm conscious of your time. So let's look at this postcard, which is now on screen, which I, frankly, can... What is it? Perchance... Oh, in fact, you tell us what it says, because I can barely read that.
So this is a little postcard that I was shown, and I got tearful actually seeing this. It says, "Perchance it is not dead, but sleepeth." And
which is about the Linton to Barnstaple Railway.
Yes. One of the trustees of the railway knew that I've always had a love of the railway, and he said, "I've got something to show you," and he brought this out, and this is the postcard that was put on by a local man onto a wreath of chrysanthemums on the buffer stop at the end of the railway's life, where they said, "Perchance this railway in 1935, it is not dead but sleepeth," and somebody kept that. And
I didn't know it still existed. I knew the story, but I did not know it existed. Wonderful.
And this little postcard, I know for so many people who are involved in preservation and heritage railways, this message, this little line has inspired them. A bit like Railway Adventure, the LTC rail book. This little line has inspired countless tens of thousands of people, and to actually have it in my hand and go, this is the thing that has driven so many people to rebuild railways over generations. It was just marvellous. Oh, lovely stuff.
Joyous. That's a real gem. That is. That's a genuinely delightful. Such a delightful and critical article. I love it. Absolutely love it.
And it was so kind of the team they knew, because they knew that I would appreciate it and understand its significance. They brought it out of hiding in the archives and brought it across Devon to show me. So and we have it on camera, and it's the black border. Yeah, it is a wreath of chrysanthemums to as a funeral, but saying we hope you're just sleeping. Right.
Yes.
I'd cry. Oh.
Now, tell me about this place. I think I know where it is, but actually, I now don't think I know where it is. I've changed my mind. Where is this, Tim? This is. I tell you. Describe it before we tell us where it is. Describe the architecture. Describe what we can see on screen.
We are looking at what appears to be almost Westminster Hall in London, with a wooden, allegedly, hammer beam roof. Looking rather Tudor-like.
Yes.
It isn't at all. Actually, it is a larger version of the Westminster Hall. It is, of course, Brunel's Temple Meads station in Bristol.
Yes, of course. And
this has been used for many, many years by different organisations since trains stopped running into it. And what was wonderful, we spent a day and a half at Bristol Temple Meads with the asset manager, a very, very kind, interesting and interested man called Simon. And Simon from Network Rail is kind of responsible for the whole restoration of this whole Temple Meads. And what is so remarkable about this was that we said, "Where can we go?" And he went, "Where do you want to go?"
Oh.
So we just went everywhere.
Yeah.
So we went from the bottom in the vaults under the station with a narrow gauge railway or a tramway with some cable hauled. Yes, there's a narrow gauge railway that runs underneath Bristol Temple Meads station, which used to have little trolleys on it, and there are various little sort of ramps and things. And the idea was that they could take wine warehouses down there, all sorts of things for storing of goods, but also different platforms had things underneath it, like there are refreshment rooms on them. And so to get to refreshment rooms, including the one that's still there on platform, which I forget it is, the main sort of down platform, up platform. The big sort of, I guess it's called Brunel's or something. They've got dumb waiters that go from the restaurants and cafes down to the basement, so that could then ship. So they could ship all the stuff around underneath the station, not involving the passengers, and not having to. So it was all kind of hidden away. This whole infrastructure underneath the whole station, just remarkable. So went down there, went up onto the top of the station. I'll show you in a minute a view from that.
That's where that is.
Up into the clock tower. to see the old roof that got burnt down, the old steeple that's burnt down from the top. Platform 3, thank you, Chris. Yeah, so remarkable. And then going behind some of the locked doors and going to see this though. So my father was a surveyor on the Western region for a little while, British Rail. So he was based at Bristol and Exeter for a while. So he'd been in this many, many times. But of course, Netrail has now bought this station.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're going to see it, and again, I've never been inside this building because over the years it was a museum for the Colonial Museum, I think it was, or the Empire Museum. And it's been an event space. It's not in great nick. It needs a lot of work doing on it.
So I was going to say, is this what was the event space? Because I knew there was a bit. So this, for anyone who's not aware, these are the terminal platforms of the original. So I wrote about these when I wrote about the Great Western being one of the 7 wonders of Britain's railway world. These are the terminal platforms of the original Great Western Railway, right? This is where the original trains from, actually not from Paddington, from the terminal before Paddington was built, and then eventually Paddington pulled in.
Yes.
So this was the event space, but Network Rail have nabbed it back, have they?
Yes, and then just beyond this, there's a whole section which is now part of it's a university training area. Where they have kind of infilled a lot of it with other sort of modern incursions.
Okay.
But you can still see the constructions of the. So this bit is the kind of the wooden sort of passenger shed, as it were. A bit further on, that continues. Then you get into the steel, sort of the iron section as well, which is the engine shed. Because actually, to know this, but this was actually built. It was actually built as the engine shed or the loco kind of maintenance facilities at the very, very far end, up by the this of course you do, up by the main road, with the offices in between them. And above on some mezzanine, and then the engines, because it would pull forward, they drop their fires and so on, and get maintained and get recoaled and so on, and then run round, and then. And the coaches were up here on the 2 platforms, and there are several roads in between for storage and running around and so on. So, but a chance to go inside this when there's nobody else in it, and stand in this space with a man who is in charge of looking at it and understanding it. Yes, there will be, as far as I'm aware, there will be no trains ever going inside this ever again. This particular bit. But there will be, there are plans for it.
Yes.
There are plans for it in the future. But
yes,
there are various plans on the table.
And so, if we go to this next image.
So this is in the boardroom. This is me in the boardroom, and it was just like it was quite fun to at the end of the table, where the original boardroom table, the original Great Western Railway was. This is where they hammered out all those deals, all the kind of all the stuff was hammered out there. It was quite fun, just kind of being Brunel, hammering down the end.
Waggling that finger and making things happen. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, it's difficult to describe this in audio only form. Sorry, folks, but it's yes. Tim is waggling his finger at the end of a boardroom table with a very grand. Is it like Tudor-esque style stone fireplace? Is that what that is?
Yeah, broadly.
Probably.
I'd say it's slightly more gothic, but
really?
In fact, it's rather hideous actually. It's rather overblown for its the size of the room. But it just gives an idea of the kind of the opulence that was being specified at the time for the GWR, and it was things like that that Brunel then got told to roll back on a bit.
Yeah.
So he always asking for more money.
Yes, that somewhat sums up Brunel. Anyway, of the next image, so now we know where this is, and there are a few things going on. Firstly, there's this spectacular gently curved roof, the view across the old, and you can see on the, wait a minute, let me just do this. Ellie, you're going to be proud of me. You can see over here, this bit, this is where, so I'm circling in red. This is this is where you were, where the image was, right? The old shed.
A bit further down towards the back. So yeah.
Oh, actually, down here, this bit here. Yes.
Yep.
And then this is the newer shed roof. This curving roof here is the newer shed roof.
That is the road. Yeah, and then you've got the Art Deco sort of 1930s stuff by what's his name, down the side down there.
Down here, yeah.
Yeah, down there.
And then what's this monogram here, down here, MFDW?
I haven't been able to find out who they were, but they were the lead craftsmen on the roof. and interestingly, they then put two little designs up on the top, and so it was blowing a gale. But again, Simon said, "Well, it's all safe. It's fine. We can go up there." So, so we all went up onto the roof, and we went up onto the very top with our sort of safety harnesses and things on, and went up onto the end. And at this end, we had a dolphin. At the far end, there was actually a pair of dice.
Oh, really? That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think they're gone now, the dice, but certainly up this little dolphin.
And
I don't know why.
Yeah, you can see the braze work. So it's too softer metal to weld, so it's all brazed like bicycle frames. So you can see the braze work, which is fantastic. And it does look. People are pointing out it does look a little bit like MF Loves DW carved into a tree on the end there with sort of a heart shape, which is interesting.
I think it isn't quite a heart. I think it might just be a little bit of a. I'm not quite sure. Not entirely sure. Maybe it's somebody who actually loves somebody else. Who knows? Who knows?
But there is a dolphin on the end of it, which is delightful. The other thing which I think is delightful are all of these chimney pots that you can spot. They're fantastic.
Yeah. So a lot of those chimney pots actually were funded replicas. So they've been recast and rebuilt in recent years, funded by a little bit of a plug for the Railway Heritage Trust.
I was going to say, the Railway Heritage Trust, yeah, absolutely.
Which I might occasionally be part of an advisor to, which is always nice. But yes, so yeah, good to see those. And we look at those and their style in the programme.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to that. Right, next image. Conscious of time.
What slide number is this?
Say again?
What slide number is this? I don't know.
We're now looking at... Oh, wait a minute. What slide number is this? I can tell you in 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is slide 14.
Brilliant. Look, it's my feet. I'm in a hot tub.
What on earth are you doing, very briefly, and why? You're in a hot tub.
You'll be pleased to know that you don't see any shots of me on television in a hot tub. I think the world isn't ready for that yet.
No, I think a lot of people are very upset that isn't going to be the case, actually, in the chat.
So there isn't. So this is from the Midland Hotel in Morecambe. So we actually went up there and we look at the stations in Morecambe Promenade Station and how it got there, and we'd actually go and look at the railway station on the pier station, which is, I think, certainly in Britain, if not the world, the only station that has got a lighthouse built into it.
That's a very good fact, everyone. An exclusively exciting little fact here. That's
there
very
you go.
nice.
And then there is.
Oh yeah, let's go on.
No, sorry, I was going to say. So, but go back.
Okay, yeah.
So that's Morecambe Station. So, but we stayed in the. So the point of going for this was that actually we could end up going to look at the Midland Grand Hotel, or the Midland Hotel at Morecambe. And they're going to let us then go and stay in it. So that's me in my hot tub. They gave us a room up on the roof, and this is me lying in my hot tub, looking out. Well, the one night of glamour we had in the whole shoot was this: looking out. One direction I could see the pier station, and that side I could see the Morecambe Promenade Station from my hot tub. So I sat there with my little plastic glass, my little glass of wine for one. In driving rain and a hurricane gale, looking in November it was, looking out and gosh, the glamour.
I was going to say, glorious hurricane, wine, hot tub, Britain in winter.
This is the architecture the railway's built. So yeah, it was lots of fun. Yes.
Right, let's go to Linton Lynmouth, or halfway between. Oh, in fact, but two things.
Sorry. And just to point out, the hot tub was only for me in my room, because it's exclusive to my room. Ooh. On my balcony, which was because they gave me the suite, so I could experience the hotel. Quite pleased. Right.
Yeah, I was going to say that's quite good. I was going to say it's unusual you get the swanky hotel room. Normally you're slumming it with everyone else, but you got the treat that time, did you?
We did, and that was super fun. Because the hotel, because it was pretty empty. It wasn't in a lockdown. It was it was tier 2 at the time, maybe. It was, I can't remember. they were like, well, we've got a spare room. Do you guys want to come and stay for the night? And we're like, we'd love to. Thank you. Right, two things there. Again, getting a bit hands-on with the old lubrication down at Linton and Lymouth Cliff Railway. Incidentally, one of the lovely things is the chap who actually maintains a Twitter feed for the railway is actually the great grandson of the original sort of engineer.
No, seriously,
Yeah.
what a remarkable little tidbit that is. That's
Isn't
fantastic.
Isn't that nice? In every series we do, we have at least one funicular, if not two, just because I love them.
They're brilliant.
But this
is my favourite funicular, actually. This one, having travelled in it more than any other, I have to say.
It's very splendid. And then South End Pier Railway, because the railway engineers kind of help design it, or what the incarnations of the pier, and we go and visit as well the brand new station at the end of the pier.
Oh, brilliant! Look at that.
Super.
A little tease, and conscious of time, we are going to have to depart that tease and look at the next thing, which is, I loved this bit. I absolutely loved this bit in the series. You look like a pro. You picked up that trowel and you immediately started placing bulbs within the soil. I adored this little segment. It was brilliant. This is at Weems.
At Weems Bay, and I do know my way around garden equipment. It's all right. I have fairly many years in the garden. So yes, it's going to meet again. One of the things that's delightful, meeting people who maintain these stations and who've got community rail groups. I'm a huge advocate for community rail and volunteers and teams, and talking to people who look after this stuff. It's a real treat to hear you ask them, why do you love this place? And they say, because all my friends are here. And they built a bookshop to help fund the work and all the plants and the flowers. And so that their garden is the station. So they are, people spending time in these gardens as groups between the cups of tea, building gardens for travellers to enjoy, and that's wonderful.
It was wonderful.
That's wonderful, and perhaps either you've got a full-time job and you want some escapism from that, and you haven't got a garden, or perhaps you're retired and actually you'd like to go and just have a little community and a little group of people to have a chat with. What better place to do that than a railway station?
It's joyous, and what a wonderful job they've done. I have to say, the before and after photo of that, the original station with the flower arrangements, and then as it is now, they've not doing a bad job for a volunteer group, I have to say.
And we saw it in December, And
yes, when everything was dead, and it still looked
remarkable.
Lovely. Yes,
remarkable.
Right. Next image. This is an image of a GWR train going somewhere from somewhere else, in old custody. No. Cream and carmine. I don't know what. No, not cream and carmine.
It's actually
chocolate
it's carmine and cream.
That's the one.
I thought I'd let you a little secret for this actually. So we have been to the Churnit Valley Railway relatively recently to do some features on a different type of architecture, and there's a drone you can see there floating in the air, and the team at the railway. Because they're like, well, we're shut at the moment, apart from the volunteers on the paid staff, they're working on things, but we can run a train for you. So we had our own private train that ran us with 7 coaches down the line. So it was one of us per coach. So I could stand there without a face mask on the train because there's no public on it, and our cameraman's there, and I could talk on camera. And then we took the drone up and around the train in a safe environment. And I'm looking forward to, in Series 3, showing you some of the wonderful footage of the North Staffordshire Railway, which is a little railway, or it's quite a large railway in the end, pre-grouping, that did some remarkable, interesting bits of railway architecture.
Kudos to the drone to the camera people who are doing drones, by the way, on the production. There's some lovely footage from the Connell segment, and I think possibly some lovely footage from the segment of which I might be involved in Series 3 as well. So I'm lots of very nice drone footage in the series.
Yep.
It's very good.
Where's
right.
Oranges and hard hat? Well, you don't need those if somebody alongside you is wearing them and you're in a contained environment.
Yes, it's fine. Everything is fine. But it's also not NR, so it's all good. Right, next image. Oh, I think it's the last. It's your last image, Tim.
So my last image. Yes, 1 minute kind of go really. Yeah. So this is the kind of once all that filming is then done, they then have to then assemble that into a script. They then create a script or a kind of a story arc of what we filmed, find archive, all the bits we researched as well, write something. I then get to see it. We fact check it. I added my own bits and suggest we remove other bits with the editor, and we occasionally go back to the locations again and film some other bits as well. And Gareth, bit weird, you know. Then I edit stuff and they edit stuff, and we get it down to a place where we love it, and then we then put it into the edit studio, and I then have to travel across London, and then I go and start recording my voice, which can take up to 3 hours for an hour's television, because you are having to do stuff and break and do the next bit and think about it, maybe edit on the fly, because you might do some editing between that last time I saw the script and this time round. And yeah, it's a very complicated procedure, and in front you can see someone in the studio there. I can't remember who that is in our edits in Shepherd's Bush, but occasionally I tweet when I'm on my way to work in an evening across London on the tube at the moment, off to Shepherd's Bush, or to, we've got other studios we use across London, other places as well for backup. But again, what's remarkable is I see the series producing as, you know, at these locations, but the rest of the team, we don't really get to talk to each other apart from a few Zoom calls. It's wonderful. But then this year it all comes together, and I then get to see the final edit, and I love it. And then I do get to see it again. Really, sometimes I get to see it usually the day before broadcast, where they send me a link of a high res, like 3 gigabyte download version.
Yeah. Yeah, come on yesterday. Put HD on UK TV Play. Come on, we're all wanting the HD. We're sick of SD. Do it, well, UK TV Play.
It's very expensive.
It is.
It's very, very expensive HD, and it is a small television station.
I was going to say, they are it's evidence of how small an outfit and lean an outfit they are. That they have a system that works. We can watch it. We can watch it on catch up, which is great. But hopefully there's some momentum behind. Go on, get it on HD. We'd love you to do so. Yeah, it's hard.
I can't pick for the broadcaster.
No, it's true. Yeah, we're all going to tweet yesterday and say we love what you do.
Well, it's up to you. I'm sure they would love to as well.
Yes.
I don't think it's for want of not wanting to. And I must admit, I get a bit annoyed when I keep seeing people replying to my tweets saying, "Oh, it's nice, but I wish I could see it in." I'm like, well, they'd love to see it in HD too. But as with all these things, it's all about budget, and you must remember that the media landscape is a difficult one right now.
Absolutely.
It's a very tricky one, and the fact that I think we've managed to make this kind of program at all for television rather than YouTube, perhaps, is wonderful. And the viewer numbers, thankfully, have been reflected in that, and so it's a privilege. It's a real privilege.
It is. Everyone, what do we need to do is just do a massive, if we love it so much, everyone who does the HD tweets, do a crowdfunder, put your money where your mouth is, and see what happens.
What I'd rather, actually, the one thing that people kind of go is like, I've not heard of that channel. Like, where is it? And again, because it's quite a little thing. What is needed more than anything? The reason I often tweet so much about it is because I like letting people to share stuff and retweet it, because people haven't heard of the channel, and when they find the program, they go, "Oh my god, this is great! Oh wow, I wish I'd known about this before." And you kind of go, "I know."
Yeah.
So I suppose, if anyone watching this does enjoy the program, then my request is then please share it on Facebook and tell your friends about it. Particularly on Facebook, I tweet a lot about it. I don't really do Facebook.
Yeah, we're both rubbish at Facebook. I don't do Facebook because I'm not a huge fan. But everyone who is a Facebooker, tell people about it. Do share and spread the word.
Yeah, because that the more people that watch it, the more we get to do. It's as simple as that. The more popular it is, the more people love it, people that mention it. it gets popular. So yes, it is a delight and a privilege to do it. And so so rest of the show, I've got a list of things. I've got a list here of telling you places we're going to.
Oh, I tell you what, I'm going to bring your face up next to mine. There we are. You got you in big face again. There we are.
Oh, hang on. So
There we go.
Can you see that?
Yeah, we can.
Oh,
We
look.
can see the name of.
It's
Is that
book,
John
it's a-
Betjeman's book?
It's actually.
Yeah.
So normally, because as you know, there are 6 bookcases in this house. We have a lot of interesting little books, and a lot of them are really very, very thick ones. Pevsner's, which I know I've got you into as well.
You got me one. Well, I got me one under recommendation from you and your partner. Yes.
Pevsner's are some of the greatest books ever written to understand your local area, and we've got around about 50. Often. But they make really, really good building blocks for holding stuff up or wedging doors open.
Like, for example, a very complex model railway.
Well, indeed that. I have a friend who, I won't say her name because she might be watching this, who they were lucky enough in their house to have some very nice artwork, including a Rodin sculpture, a bust by Rodin.
Wow.
Or a couple of them. And she said, we didn't really know, we sort of knew what it was. She said, but we used to use it as a doorstop. And
oh dear.
I was anyway. Right. So where are we now? We're on.
We've completed all the slides, which it only remains really then to go through the finale and then say cheerio. Okay, we're 6 minutes late, Tim. I hope you don't mind. We're going to go back to here.
That's fine. David's still doing his lecture.
Oh, good. Right, we're gonna go here. We're gonna whiz through to. I'm gonna do my very brief. It's on all audio platforms, everyone. Listen to, enjoy this in audio form. For those who have listened, I hope we've audio described suitably. I'm sorry. John C. Stone, I know you're listening to this in audio form only. Apologies for whatever we didn't describe. We did our best. Patreon, you know about that. The Discord, you know about that. And PayPal, I don't mind. So, yes, that's all my plugs done. A joint plug. Let's bring Tim's face back. Where are we? Tim, your face is back. You're eating some crisps. Are they not? What flavour are you
I
eating?
don't know what any of those things were.
These? The things... Wait, these?
What's this called?
These are all the podcast platforms. I don't remember half of their names other than the ones that their names are written on the screen. Yes, I know. Clever people do these things. Patreon is how I get funded to do these things. They pay for my tech. And Discord is where everyone shouts at me and makes memes of my face. Which is highly dignified. No, we're here to advertise this weekend. We're going to have there's going to be a nice thing happening, which, Tim, I've got a feeling you might have a contribution to it, possibly. The Twitter Model Train Show.
I might be working, so...
oh, God.
I might actually be filming Series 3, I'm not quite sure yet. Okay. If I'm not out filming till the evening, at a secret location overnight, it is apparently, I'm told, the Twitter Model Train Show, hashtag Twitter Model Train Show, all the Saturday, where everyone is encouraged to upload their photographs, live videos, or videos of their model trains. Don't tweet me, because I'm probably not there.
No, don't tweet it. This isn't a Tim thing. This is an everyone thing.
I didn't do it.
But
no, it's some chap in Australia, and
Cotton Tree Railways. Is that right?
Rings a bell. Yes, Cotton Tree, yes. So he or she has done this, and it took off last year in lockdown, and 1,000 people did it. And I said, yes, let's amplify it. So please put your pictures up.
Dina and I are going to put our Brio, our N-gauge, and our Doublo on camera. We're gonna. I mean, it's not gonna be quite as good when you just sat and did a Periscope for like 2 hours of your insane layout. It's not gonna be quite that grand, but we are gonna try and do something moving. That'd be nice. And then the last thing is, you'll like this. Is next week's episode, which is Anne Gavahan is joining us to talk about, shall we say, a topical subject, which are the tunnels that are under the U.S. Capitol. So any budding crypto terrorists out there, this is the episode for you. No, we joke, of course. These are all publicly available bits of information. Nothing will be revealed. But it should be interesting, I think. Anne's brilliant. She was on series 1 of The Architecture the Railways Built.
Anne is one of the most interesting people I've ever heard speak on the London Underground and its systems. Genuinely, Anne, it will entrance you for an evening. So much more interesting than me. I might try and listen into that.
I'm very excited about this. Fingers crossed, Anne. If you there have been some technical difficulties on Anne's side, so we'll see. But very very much fingers crossed. It might end up being a pre-record, but very much fingers crossed that we can have Anne on to talk about this. So she was messaging me mid-episode saying whether she can manage it. But yeah, she should be with us. I'm very excited about that one. Tim, this we get to it's the closure of the show. That we're only 10 minutes late. I'm so sorry we've delayed you by 10 minutes. I hope it's okay. I hope
that's fine. Do you want to know what's in the rest of the episode?
Oh yes. Tell us what you can.
Right, next week, Piccadilly line, northern extensions. So Southgate, Arnos Grove, Oakwood, Enfield West, Causey Arch and Pilsen. As in
early railways. I'm excited about that. Yes.
Yeah, Pilsen. So home of the lager. And it's talking about beer, that one.
Yes.
Linton and Barnstable Railway, which has got several stations, plus the viaduct as well. And Catesby Tunnel in Northamptonshire, which is now used for high-speed car testing. Leipzig Hauptbahnhof in Germany.
Very
Barrow
nice.
Hill.
Oh, what was that? Sorry?
Barrow Hill.
Barrow Hill? Ah, yep.
Near Chesterfield. Bath × 2 stations. So Green Park. So we go underneath Green Park into the vaults beneath. So I meet the team under there, and of course Bath Spa, Łódź Fabronicha in Poland. It looks like Lodz, especially with Łódź. Then I've got Sheffield Station, which is built on piers, as you probably know, on top of the river. So we get our willies on and go and explore underneath, and go look for crayfish underneath the station. And then we go to Oriente Station in Portugal, which is remarkable, and Benley Viaduct. Then after that, the week it's Bristol Temple Meads, amazing. Haapsalu, I think it's in Finland, and the Southend Pier. Then it's Huddersfield, Hollowhosen, which is that in? Where's Hollowhosen? Episode? I forget which we actually were in, which country we're in, and which
somewhere in that Europe that they have.
And then Midland Hotel and Morecambe Promenade. And then the final episode is Wingfield, Malmo, and the Welland Viaduct. Wingfield being an early railway station that is a ruin, or half a ruin, and they got access to it, and they took all the grates off the windows to show us this remarkable Francis Thompson design station up in the Midlands. And then a couple of things on Series 3 I can tell you about. Am I allowed to? I'll tell you anyway. We are definitely off to Charing Cross into the vaults beneath that, which is rather fun.
This is exciting.
We have recorded all the stuff. We're going to Germany. We're going to Czechoslovakia, I think. I think we're Czechoslovakia, somewhere in Czechoslovakia. Not quite sure where. Can't remember where. We have filmed there already. It's been filmed before lockdown happened. A race against time.
Yeah.
Then we've also got where else have I been? Oh, Newcastle.
Oh yes, yep, good. That'll be
we had a possession on the high level bridge.
You didn't.
So I got to walk out across the Tyne on top of Stevenson's bridge.
I've done surveys on King Edward Bridge, looking onto it, and those surveys were my favourite surveys I've ever done, because you have Newcastle and Gateshead either side of you, and the Tyne under. Well, that'll be fantastic.
That is fantastic. And as I mentioned, the North Staffordshire Railway, and I can't begin to tell you the rest of that stuff because there's another 30 locations.
And you'll get told off if you're already going to get told off for having shared those things with us. So yes, Tim, it has been it's so lovely to see you. We haven't been to a pub for a very long time, and I miss it sorely. So it's nice to share a drink with you on camera, and we've had chums joining us, which is nice.
Yes, thank you for joining. Thank you for putting up with our wittering.
Yes, we may have wittered, but there have been images to distract you from the wittering. take good care of yourself, Tim. Best of luck with the rest of filming for Series 3. There's quite a bit for you left to do still, I'd imagine. But
there's still quite a bit, and then there's lots of sort of London Underground stuff as well for it to enjoy as well. So yeah. Here we go.
Here we go. This is it. Here we go.
Bring it on.
This is it. And it only really remains for both of us to say our cheerio. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks. It's been an absolute pleasure. Cheerio.